Good evening. We're at the Board of Water Commissioners. This is the May 20th, 2014 Board of Water Commissioners meeting here at Central Street in Raleigh, Mass. We have the board, full board here tonight, and Carmen is here, and he's our administrative assistant. So the first order of business is to interview Mr. David Foote for a primary operator position. David, would you like to come up?
Absolutely. You have copies of my resume, or would you all like copies? You're all set, okay?
All right, have a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in tonight. What, we noticed that you came in before too when we had a position opening.
Correct.
And you're up in Derry, New Hampshire?
Correct. At this time, my house is on the market. We are moving. We're moving something smaller. It's a very large place, and it's a lot of work, and taxes getting out of hand.
Yeah.
So we're looking for, probably a condo someplace more towards the seacoast.
Oh, good.
Excuse me. I don't. Here we are.
Okay, so why are you interested in this position?
I've done this job for 30 years. I worked here for a while with Rob, good guy, good operator. Looking for a change from where I am now.
Are you a high school graduate?
Yes,
Where'd you go to high school?
Raymond, New Hampshire, and I did 2 years of a certificate program, if you will, in business.
You have a Massachusetts driver's license?
I have a New Hampshire driver's license. I have a New Hampshire driver's license, and then Mass and New Hampshire treatment 2 and distribution 3 licenses.
And T3 licenses? Okay.
Yes. I've done everything from, working at a 30 million gallon a day treatment plant, to laying pipe, service taps, hydrants, meter reading. I started out as a meter reader a long time ago, and then progressed through all different facets from there.
How much notice would you have to give for your son?
2 weeks.
When would you be available?
2 weeks from 2
Okay.
weeks, yeah. I know you are building a treatment plant as well. How's that going? Pretty close to completion?
Yeah, we troubleshooting it and testing it.
Nice.
Seems to be working very well.
I'd like to see it one way or the other, whether I end up here or not. I'd like to take a look.
Yeah, it's quite a plant.
You're working on Pepperell now, huh? How long does that take you from Gary?
About an hour.
No.
This from my house to here, I made it in about 45 minutes. But like I said, we are looking for something smaller. When I bought my house 20 years ago, the taxes were $4,100. Now they're up to $8,800. It's getting outrageous.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for like a condo or something.
So how many years you've been working with the public water?
30 years. I started at Consumers Water in Londonderry, Hudson, New Hampshire, which we ran, the Hudson system, and about 30 con-ops after that, which, small standalone systems. And then when they got bought out, I went to Pennachuck, who absorbed the company and the employees, and I was there for 15 years, as well as running a surface water treatment plant. At that point, we had probably 100 small systems, everything from gravel packs to wells to just small booster stations that would purchase water from, another township. I tried something else for a period of time, and Didn't like it, didn't like being in the same building, looking at the same four walls all day. It's just not me, you know. I need a change and, you know, different diversity, you know.
Yeah. What kind of supervisory experience do you have?
Well, I'm foreman in Pepperell at this point, 3 employees. When I was at Pennachuck, I was a foreman for about 3 years before I left there. And we had a crew of 9. So, you know, job assignments and lead whatever needs to be led. Everything from main breaks to rebuilding a station after an incident, new system startups, filtration, everything from pressure vessels to, you know, regular surface water filtration.
How big is Pepperell?
Pepperell is 3,300 customers. There are 5 gravel packs. Peak day is about 1 million. Typical, it's about 600,000 a day in the winter. I'd say it's like about 50 miles of main. About 600 hydrants.
How many residents in the town do you?
In Pepperell,
Yeah, roughly.
I'm not sure exactly how many residents are in the town. I know there's about 3,300 service connections, but we don't serve the whole town.
Okay,
There's, you know, parts that are still on wells.
right.
If I had to guess, and it would be a guess, I'd say it's probably 6,000 residents.
About the same as Raleigh then. And the customers are about double the size of Raleigh.
It was all, we were just finishing the, going to radio reads for the meters. We had about 200 left to do. I know here you're all done with that project, which that's a good thing. That saves a lot of time and money in meter reading, that's for sure. I think I read this book, you know, this town when I was here in about 8 hours, which was pretty good. It's pretty nice compared to having to walk up to every house and read it from there.
You've been with couple 5 months?
Yep.
Any, what kind of treatment plants you been working with?
Again, everything from surface water, you know, we had a plant that would do 30 that came, you know, the source water was the Merrimack River in Nashua. And then gravel packs with pressure filters. We had a couple that had RO systems. We had a couple that had membrane filtration, chlorine, caustic, UV on some of them. Pretty much a diversity of everything, softeners, green sand. And you pretty much name it, and we had it in one system or another.
Have you looked at the salary range here that's offered here?
I have.
Do you have any problems with that?
Not at all.
You presently, what are you presently making compared to that? You over?
Very, very close to that.
Yeah.
Very close. I actually just interviewed for Hooksett, New Hampshire, is looking for a superintendent for their village district. I just interviewed for that one. Very small system though. It's only like 600 service connections, 3 wells. It's a really small system.
Yeah.
But it's a salary position, no overtime. Being a small system, the salary isn't that good, to be truthful. I mean, I'm dressed this way, but this isn't my typical dress. I
That's
usually
all right.
dress in jeans and work clothes. you
You're a
know.
working man.
That's what I do. I mean, I said I work with Rob here, and you got a real good guy there. Enjoy working with Rob. knows the system very well.
I have no further questions.
We're gonna try to make a decision tonight, so.
Okay.
But we're not sure, so hopefully we'll get back to you, in a day or so.
That'd be perfect.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Very good. Thank you. Nice talking to you again. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Take care. You have a good night.
You too. David,
Yes, sir.
would you be kind enough to send Mr. Hale in if he's outside?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, come on in. Bill, pleased to meet you. Between the two of me. This is Mr. Stuart Dalzell.
Nice to meet you.
Mr. Roy Ricker.
Hi.
Ms. Karen Crivitt. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Welcome.
So, William, why are you interested in this position?
Basically, I wanted like a little more responsibility. Right now, I'm doing like cross-connection control as a backflow inspector, so I just wanted to expand what I do like more maintenance type stuff. And thought it would be a good opportunity.
Yeah. You live up in Havel?
Yes.
You have a CDL, I see.
Yes, I do.
And hoisting engineers.
Yes.
So you worked over in Lawrence too?
Yes, it was just about 10 years.
Wow.
I've done about 3 years. I started with like the construction crew, and then I did about 3 years of water meter readings. So, it's a lot of customer service orientation. Like you have to be friendly with everybody. I just take the time to explain to customers why their bill is that way
Yeah.
and things like that. And then I got the cross connection license, so I was promoted to a backflow inspector position. So that's where I've been at for now. So we have like about 1,200 devices citywide, and I do surveys also.
You do surveys?
Yes.
What kind of surveys?
Cross connection surveys
Okay.
to determine if they need a backflow device and make sure that our system is protected.
Okay.
So we're supposed to do them every 3 years.
So how do you do that? I don't know.
I set
I
up
should
an
know.
appointment with the business, and I go around, I have a form, and I follow the water line. I went to the Volk for plumbing, Greater Lawrence Tech, so it gave me a better understanding of it, but I follow the water meter, and I just make sure every that's free flowing tap, that there's no, like in a hospital, for instance, or something like that, they have a dialysis machine, I need to make sure there's like an RP device there.
Yeah.
So everything's protected. So,
So you really get into it and look at through all the plumbing things. So the plumbing background really helped you out with that.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I enjoy what I do. Well, like I said, I just want to expand and do more.
Mhm.
Is Lawrence divided up in district like here? It's 25 commercial and residential accounts.
2,500 residential
That's
and
what I meant.
commercial combined.
Yeah, 2,500 in the city of Lawrence.
Yeah, water meters, yes.
I figured they'd have many thousand.
Well, we have about 12,000, but I personally
I
have
see what you're
2,500 per quarter.
Set it up in sections.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we have like A through G book. And
Okay,
each person gets like 2 or 3 books.
okay, I understand.
But we actually just put in all the new automated water meters.
Yep.
So we're finishing up with that now.
Okay.
So it's a direct signal to City Hall.
Direct, huh?
Yep. Yeah, you won't have to drive by.
Really?
When would you be available to start working?
About 2 weeks, I'd have to give them notice.
So you're a graduate of Lawrence Tech,
Yeah, Greater Lawrence Tech, yeah, in Plymouth.
and you have a Massachusetts driver's license.
Yes. So it's a Class B.
Yeah. What are your licenses for treatment?
I have an operator in training, 4T. So all of them are operator in training because right now our treatment system is taken over by Woodward and Curran. So I don't do hands-on treatment, so you can't lie to the board. So all I did mainly was distribution. When I first started, I was taking samples and things like that, but they took it over shortly after that. So in order to get those full, I got to work like 2 or 3 years full time, but where I'm doing distribution, if it was half and half, say, it would take twice the amount of time to get it that full. So I have the D4 full for distribution, and the T4 is in training.
Well, do you have a T? You have a T2 full?
I have just T1, T2, and T3 are in training because I don't spend enough time in the treatment plant. I take them in full.
Yeah.
So they take it. They want.
So it's
40
the size
hours.
of the treatment plant that gives you the D4 or the T4, I mean?
Yeah, we're a D4 and a T4 system.
Yeah.
So I wasn't doing mainly distribution, so they gave me the 4 full.
Yeah. So they get 2,500 customers? I thought they would have more than
No,
that.
He does,
that's
so
for my, like when I did meter reading,
Yeah,
that was
district.
for my 3 months.
Yeah.
2,500 meters for commercial and residential. Then we had 5 other meter readers at the time.
So how many customers are there?
About 12,000.
Like Mr. Hale said, we divided up, like he had so many books, 2,500, somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically split up in 4 groups, but we had 5 guys and one would help out the person if we were behind or whatever. And I did mostly South Lawrence, so there's a lot of industrial parks. So they have a lot of industrial meters and things like that, the compound meters, all the different ones.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of our backflow devices are located also.
See, you live in Haverhill now. You from Haverhill or you?
No, I'm from Lawrence.
Okay.
Now, is this on the D2 system?
D2, well, it's gonna be a D2, T2. Right now, it's a D2, T1. Until we start operating the plant. You familiar with the kind of plant we have?
I know it says online there's 3 wells that you guys run, and then you bring it to a
Yeah.
storage tank.
Yeah, and then the treatment plant we have is a polymembrane. Do we hear one of those?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of new technology out there.
What are you making right now as far as selling?
About 52,000. If I get 25.11 an hour, but if I show up to work, I get working for me. So they give me an extra $1 an hour. So it's 26.11 an hour.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
Not really. I just want to know the size and
Well, we have 1,700 customers.
what about like as far as benefits and things like that for health insurance?
You have health insurance. You're a union, the union here.
Yeah.
The union and Mars?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the same. I believe same, type of arrangement.
Same pension system? You guys
I
have?
think so, I'm not sure.
Yes.
So, you sure about that still?
That's just county.
Yeah, Essex County, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I have 10 years to put into that, so. I heard that you could just transfer it over, so it's the same, so.
In the same system.
You have any questions, Roy?
No.
Stu?
No, I have no further questions.
Well, thank you very much, William.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, William.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks.
We get 5 minutes, you wanna,
There were some other things, some other business.
I went through the warrants here. Okay. Did you find out
It was in there.
it was in there? Where is it, you know?
Should be, we just skipped over.
You wanna find it? Thanks, Kevin. We already went through that exercise today, so, I'm gonna cut some time off the.
No, I just not myself, so.
Yeah. There was one bill I didn't see, so he's gonna try and look at that, initial that, and then if you and Stu wanna take a look at that, any questions about the bills, to look in order there. Bridget, I had gone through there. Move that uptown. In the meantime, we had a break over the weekend. Glenn came in, so I think we're gonna have to redo his time a little bit. So he was able to come in, so.
I think Glenn wouldn't help.
Well, you had trouble finding people coming in. So Glenn came in, he was still on the clock, I think, but, so anyways, he was able to come in and help us.
It was way out. I see him trying to.
My pen skipping. Did you do that on purpose,
I
Karen?
did. I did. You did on purpose.
That we do the same thing with the newspaper.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the kind of pen I want.
This one's working.
Kathy, the LeBrun's? Yeah, she didn't get paid for about 2 months, so went through that. I checked her bill.
Yeah, we verified on the previous warrants.
No, I just noticed it was up there pretty high. I just noticed it went over.
You tell them we'll be with them in a few months. So the purchase orders are, how's that system working? I even come in with.
Everyone's fine, about 3:30 and it's all.
Okay, and so you're making sure they're available for them? Okay.
But I guess he hides his pets. There's water back up there, the pens. Having a big cabinet behind that. I think it's got a box of pens in there, all kinds of papers, there's no
Yeah, I need
tabs.
to just cut this up.
This is unacceptable here, the cleaner lady hasn't paid 1, 2, 3, 4 months.
Yeah, I'm not sure about all the details there still, so she may have not gotten,
We have to do better.
yeah, maybe she didn't submit the bills either,
No,
right?
she, we never got them.
We never got them?
We never paid, obviously we didn't pay.
Did you find out what the problem was?
No, she was away.
Carmine, if
She was away?
She was away.
you're talking to her, you ask her to please put the bills in,
On time?
yes,
Okay.
in a timely fashion. I'm sorry, what did I say, 4 months? It's every other week?
It was 3 weeks, I think, 3 months. Okay,
Al,
I'm gonna sign this. We cross-checked all the numbers, they're good. Okay, let's bring our next candidate in. Thank you, Peter, for coming in.
Thank you.
Hey, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you.
Eight, small one.
So why are you interested in this position, Peter?
I believe I can handle this position. At the current time, I'm the acting interim primary operator for Rowley. And I've gotten to know the system. I've also run the water treatment plant that Rowley has up off of 64 Finger Farm Road. And I believe I could do a good job with that. I believe with the right staff underneath me, I would also be able to manage them well enough to give Rowley the best water possible and have the most efficient distribution system as well.
Okay. Obviously, you're a high school graduate.
Yes, yeah. I
What
have,
kind of education do you have?
I have a bachelor's degree in business, an associate's in fire administration, and a project management certification.
You have a Massachusetts driver's license, I believe.
I have a New Hampshire Class A.
You have New Hampshire?
Class A.
Okay.
you have the hydraulic license, huh?
I have a 2A1C for a hydraulics license.
Mhm. So you have a T2 license?
Yes.
You have that?
I have a T2 license, I have a T3 in training, and I have a D3 distribution license.
A D3? Okay.
D3.
You said T2.
T2 and a T3 in training.
Now, how does a CDL license come into play as far as Massachusetts versus New Hampshire?
It's an interstate license, I can operate any state in the country.
Okay, so it just happens to the issuing
Yeah,
license.
the only thing I can't claim is for a public employee that lives in Massachusetts, they do not have to have a medical card to operate a CDL vehicle. But since I do operate a CDL vehicle outside of my state, I have to have a valid medical card. But you have to have a valid medical card to also hold a Massachusetts hoisting license. So I do hold a medical card in Massachusetts, or a DOT medical card.
New Hampshire Water and Watershed Conference in 2014. What was that about?
It was about education of the public in water quality, and also educating them on how to conserve water, and also ways in which to teach them to conserve water, and other ways to understand what their water actually has in it, and maybe what the distribution and treatment systems in their town do.
What's your past experience with it?
My past experience, I was in Topsfield before I came to Raleigh. We had about 50 miles of pipe, 25 with asbestos concrete, and then the rest of it a mix of ductile iron, plastic, and a blue group type of water main, which is basically a fiberglass encased plastic that works really well for holding the water in, but the moment it gets struck by anything sharp, it blows apart. And we also had some cast iron. And there I ran, we had 2 well fields with 2 plants, both of them. We added chlorine to, we added polyphosphate to, we added fluoride, and we added a pH adjustment agent, similar to the 3 plants that are in Raleigh. The only difference is, well, 5 in Raleigh, we add lime for pH correction, and we do not add fluoride to the town's water. And I have run multiple breaks before. I've run town crews, contracted crews, and a mix of in between, so a hybrid of that.
So, management experience.
The management of, I have a small horse hauling company that I manage, and then I've managed, when I was in Topsfield, there was 1 person underneath me and a summer kid, and usually I sat down with the superintendent and we came up with a plan of what we were going to do for that day or for the week.
I gotta ask you, what is nose work dog training?
It's basically, you teach a dog to find a specific scent. They use it a bunch in search and rescue, and I started to play with my dog a little bit with it, but I'm just too busy with work, and basically with work to be able to give him the training.
No, I've never done it before, that's why I had to
Yeah.
ask you.
It's basically where police canines or even arson canines start. They start with some scent that they find, and then they just build on that.
All set.
Topsfield Fire Department Explorer Post, what's that?
It's basically like Boy Scouts, but in the fire department. So it's a post in which you learn how to be a firefighter, but it's sponsored by the Boy Scouts of America.
So you're into the equestrian area,
Yes.
so what do you do? I see the horse trailer once in a while. You transport horses?
We have eventing horses, and we have some dressage horses, and then when I'm not on call, sometimes I haul for a bigger outfit that hauls hunter jumpers and dressage horses around, but I have 2 of my own one event horse and 1 western reining horse.
So you have it?
I do.
Oh, wow.
And then my girlfriend has 2, and then my sister-in-law on her property that abuts me. We have 26 other horses, combination of my brother and hers and boarders.
Wow.
We have a boarding facility.
I'm glad you're feeding them and not me.
Yeah,
What's a bale of hay cost these days?
we get it for about $5.50 a bale.
Ooh.
Down here, you're looking at $10 a bale. 30-mile difference. That's what you get.
You're kidding me, it's $10 a bill down here now?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, you have any more questions?
No, I'm all set.
Don't be talking about the price of hair on camera, the prices down there, where I get my hair would be going up.
Yeah,
Try Florida,
it's $15 a bale down there.
more than that.
Wow.
15 or 20, depending on what you're getting. A bale of alfalfa, like the last time I got it, was $36 a bale,
I
or
have
an
no
80-pound
further
bale.
questions.
So maybe if they hear about that here in town, they'll be watering their lawns more.
Yeah.
Make hay fields. All right, well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
I assume you'll be available immediately for work.
Yes.
Okay, so it's quarter of. We have our next candidate for seasonal labor.
Well, he has not arrived.
Okay.
Neither?
Neither.
You guys ready to vote on the primaries?
I think we ought to do is follow the agenda there, hopefully, so you can come in. Okay, so next order, let's keep moving on here. Draft abatement policy, we need her solicited regarding temporary water operating coverage.
Yeah, organize the board.
We've done purchase orders, updated customers issues, let's look at that. There was a, what's the name of that street? It's Hammond Street and,
Set up a data line for that,
yeah,
so this should be probably done tomorrow. See what the problem is, so I can understand what's up.
yeah. So we have a situation where we transitioned from our system to the Penachuk system, billing system. There was a real increase in flow
Because
at that
prior,
transition.
prior it was a steady, constant
Yeah.
type of
So
bill.
it was either a coincidental thing or I thought maybe it was worth looking into to see if it was a billing error. Maybe somebody's, the account numbers got mixed up or something in the transition.
It did, it was,
Okay.
yeah.
Does that machine have to go out and test it every once in a while? That reads meters?
I assume so, but
It just seems like we've had enough water on the jump.
yeah.
So maybe we should check into that, see if it's not certified every year or 2 years, how that works.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't a real big spike. It was like,
No, but I mean, we're getting so many different ones, what I'm saying.
yeah. Well, this thing was typically around $40 to $50 and it went up to $160. So that's, we're going to look into that. After the meeting tonight, I'll try to call and connect with that person. So if you could provide me with the phone number again, I'd appreciate that. There's another, I got another call this week about, there's a wall down on the, I want to see if you guys can remember. Wall down on
Corner of Summer and Bradford.
Bradford.
They knocked that down when they were doing that hydrant.
So what was wrong with the hydrant that we had to go there and repair? Was it an auto accident or?
No, it wasn't an auto accident, it was something they had to fix that, that was back.
Was that the one that wasn't working? You couldn't open it up?
It was in, just inside the wall, remember? on top of the hill there, right there in Brad.
Well, I got a picture of it, so.
But it's just inside, and I had to take the dig around it to get the height. That was back when Jason and all them were here.
Was
And,
that?
some guy's getting ready to sell the house, so I imagine that's why he's probably pushing.
Okay.
They had to take this down to get around it. Or dig it.
Okay. So was the hydrant originally on the other side of the wall, or this side, the street side?
It's right up against it, just I forget how it was now.
So they offset it, moved it off or something?
I don't know, but I know they hit the wall. I
Yeah.
had to move part of the wall, and
So
we were supposed to fix that a
Wait,
long time ago.
what we're trying to find out now is who owns the wall, so who's going to repair it. So this is like a year and a half long. So I think what we're gonna do is give it over to make sure that the town, street department's gonna, maybe look into it. And if it's, something we should do, I think we'll have to figure out how to,
But if the guy's getting ready to sell the house, we probably
See
need
it?
it done.
is he out on the market, or? He told me that it's our wall. But I don't know, we gotta
I'm not
verify
sure.
that. So now, we're well into another year and a half of this.
It's immaterial whether the house for sale or not. Did the water department break the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should fix it.
They need to repair it.
So I think the initial prices came in still very, very steep, so I think that was a hang up.
Masons around town.
So somebody's gotta look a little further to make
Shut
sure
up,
that
Nadine.
happens. I did. How's everything?
Talking about a wall that was damaged?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I notified? Because we would have filed a claim on insurance on that.
It was
On
two
a
and a
general
half, 3 years
liability.
ago that was done.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a general liability claim.
Okay.
Town has insurance for it. Accidents happen, we understand. I'm surprised there was no subrogation with the homeowner.
I don't know.
No, they took it back to fix the hydrant, that's all I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to realize now, this happened 2.5 years ago, we're costing it out, we have to find out now on a budget level, that you've got the money and where is it gonna be paid out of.
Well, the only one that would have any details about how it happened or why it happened would be Rob, so we have to figure out. Can you put a claim in right now? Or is it too
Do I
late?
have?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
Well, it
I
might be a
just-
year and a half, so I don't know if it makes a difference at the time.
No,
I don't know.
we're supposed to report things in a timely fashion and I
I
know,
know Jason and Jay were still here when that was done down there. So I think it's gonna be a year and a half,
Year and a
or
half.
better.
yeah. Well, going forward, I did explain to the operators that, if they do have any accidents, if somebody hits them, they hit something, to report it right away.
I don't think it was actually an accident, they had to take it down so they could.
Yeah. So it was damage and it's, a liability.
Well, if they took it down, why wasn't it put back together? That would not be an insurance claim
No.
if they
No,
took it apart.
The only thing I can remember on it was there was kind of a steep pricing, there was not enough pricing to get the job accomplished.
I think
They
the
just kind of felt,
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman
Siri,
got
go
the
to
one
David.
price.
when did he give it to us?
When?
Yeah.
It was probably right after the incident, when you guys instructed him to get 3 prices, and he
So
said,
he already got the pricing?
he got that one price, but he says he wasn't gonna go any further to get any more,
Yeah.
prices.
Well, I spoke with them and I said I'd look at the wall, so I looked at the wall, and it's obviously needs some concrete masonry work and, rock replacement. Okay, so, the other thing I thought was that you could, make it look similar by just taking the tail end of the wall off, but I don't know, what the pricing, somebody needs to take the lead on that. So, do you wanna, get involved with that stuff? In this interim, period where we're having, some needs there. And we just wanna go forward with it.
I don't understand when the hydrant was replaced, why that wall was not put back together then.
Check with Rob, Rob's the only one left of the whole bunch. I mean, everybody else is gone, so the only way you're gonna find out anything.
The masons around,
No, I'm just saying, Rob's the only one left.
Well, it hasn't gotten done, so it needs some attention from somebody, so. maybe get, work together with Debbie and help her and get some pricing and get the thing accomplished, because it's not an insurance claim now, so. We had the interview with the three
Okay.
primary candidates, and,
So we're starting, did you do the seasonal yet, or?
well, we're waiting for one of them to
Okay.
show up, as,
These two are not here. All right, we need to discuss a couple of things that are going on. That one's been going on for 2-3 weeks. There's another one at 95 Main Street. We haven't made a decision on, dragging on.
Okay, so this here is Mr. Arizara.
28 Cindy Lane. I guess we did speak about this one today. They can call, I think Carmen, you spoke to Mr. Abuzara, or Mrs. Abuzara, they can call Penachuk and get the abatement form, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that one's all set. That's the Cindy Lane one?
28 Cindy Lane, yeah.
Yeah, so they need to file for the abatement and get that.
Okay, so
We don't have the abatement forms yet on one.
you're in communication with them, so this is
Yeah,
just his
Carmine's been
request.
taking care of that one.
Okay, all right. Let's moving along.
Why can't he come in here and fill out an abatement? The gentleman that owns the property.
He's gotta get the form, and I think Carmen can give him the form.
Carmen's handling all that.
Okay,
So he's gonna fill it out, but he's gonna just be,
So as soon as he gets it in, it will be on the agenda.
all right.
and then when it gets on the agenda, there'll be that standard abatement form that we see, and we'll just, vote on it.
All right, don't lose the letter,
Okay, yeah,
question. And
it's your copy.
we never made a decision at 95 Main Street. The water department, the town had her, well, the one that had her money, her $3,000 since last October, and she never got the water put in until, say, a month ago. And then she got another bill for $800 and some odd dollars.
That's the one I looked up in the bylaws, correct?
We have to take care of these things.
No, I'm
It
just
just
saying.
drags on, it's getting
That's the one I looked
ridiculous.
up in the bylaws.
So, how do you wanna handle it? How do you think we should handle it? It's not before us tonight, it came up and we talked to her about it, she wants us to get back to it, do you?
That is correct.
Okay,
So
so,
we haven't been gotten back to him, we have to, $3,800 she paid. It's a change, and, took us 6 months to get the water in. It's not right.
okay, so.
I know one thing on the, talking about the 6 month, that in that bylaw, there is a cutoff date in November that we have.
I just don't want excuses.
No, I'm
We
just
have
saying
to-
in the bylaws.
Do you think it'd be good customer relations if we, maybe the discount of the bill? I don't know. What do you?
It's only fair.
So what do you want to do? Make a motion.
All right. It used to be, not long ago, it went up to $500 existing home. It was $100 before that. And she has an existing home. No homes for $3,000.
It's not in the bylaw, there's a difference.
Okay, so you would contradict our bylaws, so. What do you think that there would be fair as far as a delay in providing her water plus, whatever? What do you think would be fair as a customer relations type of thing to make her happy? Because she's been, delayed on it and she's been giving her money out 8 or 9 months ago. We're not gonna vote on it tonight. She would probably have to put this before us with an abatement, right?
I can't claim to be familiar enough with your regulations to to really comment on the matter.
It's driving me nuts, things just dragging on and dragging on, so nothing gets done.
Okay, so then I'll make a, you know, you ask her to fill out an abatement, see what she'd think would be fair for her delays, and then bring it before the board. Okay? So you call her up, say, here's our abatement form.
Will you call the lady, Tom?
Yes, I will first.
Thank you.
And then tell her we want to address this in a timely manner, and then we know that it's been delayed and everything. And ask her what she would feel as, you know, an appropriate thing. And just, you know, she's got to, you know, make a case for herself on this abatement form and present it to the board. So we can't, nothing before us tonight.
Well, we can't give the store away, but hopefully we can help us somewhat.
Yeah, let's have her do it that way, and then she can come before us the next meeting. And then present her case, okay? So that sounds like a plan, right?
All right.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna call
What are you doing?
up this candidate and see where he is.
Which one? Oh, so did both not show, or
Nobody showed up here for this.
Neither show.
We need somebody to cut grass right now.
It's not out there in the parking lot, by any chance, is it?
I believe Amy left a message on both of these.
Well, let's find out if they're on en route or something. Yes, is Dan around? Yeah, Dan. Yes, Tim Toomey. Are you en route to take your interview at the water department tonight? No, it's tonight, so can you just go on down right? Okay, I'll see you. Okay, bye. Somebody told me it was the 28th, so.
No.
Okay.
Amy actually spoke with everybody that's on the agenda for tonight, except Jerry Hovey. She had to leave him a voicemail.
Okay.
And she didn't call back to confirm.
Okay. Let's give him a shot right now. Jerry, this is Tim Toomey. We're wondering if you're en route to come to your interview tonight. So if you're there, or could you pick up, or if you could get us, we'll be probably in session until for at least another half hour or 40 minutes. So it is right now about 6 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to some of the
Prepared to discuss many of the things that are old business.
okay, continue discussions of draft abatement policy.
Okay, so Karen Summit, who couldn't make it tonight, she wanted me to let the board know she's still working on that policy that she's trying to draft. to tighten things up and, you know, make a smoother process on that. So she's working on that. I am still working on number 2, the solicitation for the temporary water operator coverage for the water treatment plant. So I'm gonna need another week on that. I've just been tied up with many things. Okay, water treatment plant construction update and status of change orders. So as you know, we didn't have an opportunity to inspect the facility with the building inspector, but we did meet last Tuesday instead, and met with the building inspector, the fire chief, treasurer Karen Summit, water commissioner Stuart Dalzell, John Sikora, the clerk of the works from Weston and Sampson, John Hargraves, the water board special consultant, David Steele, the Weston and Sampson architect, selectman Robert Murray, and selectman Robert Snow. So what we did was review that punch list that was prepared by RDK engineers. So that was a pretty substantial list of items that needed to be done. And we also reviewed the punch list that Weston and Sampson prepared. And we kind of came up with a work, you know, reviewed it, had an idea of a number of outstanding issues. So the building inspector and the fire chief said that, you know, many of these things have to be completed before they'll even go in for an inspection. So there were many life safety issues that were involved in the facility. Additionally, I was informed that there'd be another change order forthcoming, and that's currently being reviewed by the clerk of the works and John Hargraves. They're still working on that, so there was nothing that could be ready for tonight's meeting from them on that. And it involves, I think, an interlock at the tanks and some type of drain, I think, for an exhaust. Let's see, there has been no written response from Kinsman to John Sikora's letter regarding substantial completion. So I inquired about that, and I also inquired if there had been any activity going on with respect to this 14 pages of items that need to be addressed. And apparently John Sikora says they do have many different subcontractors, and they're working on HVAC, the fire protection system, the electrical subcontractors. So apparently there's work going on, but it's a day-by-day issue. They're not really communicating with Weston and Sampson in any form of capacity at this point. Let's see, so that's where we are with the water treatment plant.
What I've heard is that there actually there's been some painters on the property, so they look like they're painting.
Well, painting, but there's a number of serious issues in that 14-page document from RDK.
Sure.
So that's that if we don't have an occupancy permit, we're going to be sitting around for a while,
Okay.
and that's going to be a serious issue. The town council advised me that I should probably contact Weston, should contact the DEP and let them know that we're having this issue right now with the contractor, and that we're working with Weston and Sampson. So I was going to wait till the end of the week and see if there had been any.
Weston had any comment on any of that?
Other than they made these observations, but they didn't get any written response back to their letter. So so it's a day-by-day issue. So they've essentially, on behalf of the town, denied the request for substantial completion based on the report that showed all these items that have to be done. And we won't be able to get an occupancy permit until they're done. There was one other issue that came out of that meeting, and that's actually Pingree Farm Road. It's in a terrible state. If you drive down it, you'll notice, it's got huge holes in it, and so the fire chief is addressing that now as a serious public safety issue. So the fire chief was working with John Sikora, and I actually saw a draft of a letter that the chief is going to be sending to John Sikora, bringing that up so it'll be documented in writing. They're afraid that they can't even get a fire truck down that road.
Into state forest.
If there's an emergency in the forest, if there's an emergency at the construction site, they can't get an ambulance down there. You're not supposed to be driving on in the condo developments road. That was, an agreement that that's not a public road to be used to access you know, you can go around halfway and then get into the dirt road. You're supposed to be able to use that whole dirt road, and I understand that the contractor is thinking he's gonna be pulling out, then he's gonna grade it, but right now, I mean, it's really, not
Deplorable.
practical to get down there. So I
So-
draw that to your attention now. The fire chief-
Can the fire chief have a letter into that effect that it's a safety
He's
issue?
working on that right now,
Okay,
as
good.
far as I'm aware. He's got a letter that I think is gonna be sent, to John Sikora.
Okay.
I have nothing official, just a draft.
You gentlemen have been up there, you know the condition of the road.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Mr. Peterson?
I asked a question, Dave Peterson from the Board of Selectmen. I haven't been to all your meetings, obviously, and I'm not familiar with everything that's going on, but I'm a little bit concerned that, are we getting any written documentation on the situation? I mean, we have 2 clerks of the works, and we seem to be getting oral reports, but it would seem to me at this point that the board should be getting some detailed written information, because it sounds like it's heading for litigation of some sort. And I think it's imperative that you develop as much paperwork as possible. And I think do I understand that nobody can still go in there except for, I mean, who at this point can go into the plant that's representing the town? Just John Sikora and Hargreaves? I'm getting the impression that everybody's talking, but nobody seems to really
Well,
know what's
that-
going on. I'm just
I-
concerned that we need some,
I
we
think
need
that
some.
the communication between Weston and Sampson and Kinsman is kind of on the hold, or on the
Was he giving us some documentation to that effect? And I think you need to start that, it should have been already, but we seriously need to be developing a timetable of events here that someone can go to court and say, this is what's happened, and the lawyers can deal with it. Otherwise, you're just dealing with, I think, on such and such a day, that might have happened, and that doesn't fly in court. And we're gonna lose any litigation if we're not properly prepared with documentation and a timetable, et cetera, we might as well forget about even going to court, because they're gonna laugh us right out. I mean, and I just get the impression from watching what, I haven't been here every meeting, I admit, and I haven't been deeply involved in it, but, everybody's kind of talking around each other, and it's time to
Yeah.
beat the road with a hammer and
Yeah.
start requiring at least require our 2 clerks of the works to give.
I imagine
The board's
that
documentation.
journals, they keep everything written down what's going on.
Well, I would make sure he is, and you should be getting a weekly report requiring them to give you a weekly
think,
report exactly what's happening and what isn't happening and so on and so forth, because, a year from now, it isn't gonna do you any good to say, well, I think
Well-
this happened, or I thought that happened.
That's a good point. I think we should, vote right now, or make a motion to require a written report from both Mr. Sikora and Mr. Hargreaves
I'll make that.
on a status.
On a weekly basis, I would get a weekly.
On a weekly basis. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. It's my impression that they're hoping that this will be resolved very quickly, and they're waiting for a letter from the Kinsman Corporation to get this thing resolved. I think they're waiting for that. They've been told that they were gonna get a letter, but I don't know if there's a time on that letter. So at this point, you're right, Mr. Peterson, we should be requiring a documentation stream to help us out here in the event that does go beyond our desires of opening the plant shortly.
I mean, it sounds like we haven't had anything from Kinsman since the original letter we got, or you got, that stopped,
Well,
nobody's
it
allowed.
was actually inappropriate. It was an email
But I
sent
mean, that's the only
on a
written,
Friday afternoon.
well, obviously they're stonewallers. I mean, at this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah,
they're figuring that what they've been advised that the best thing to do is stonewall whatever's going on here in hopes that we're gonna cave to whatever they want us to do.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, if we're gonna cave, that's fine, but at this point, it's just going from week to week, and the longer it goes, and DEP's gonna say, hey, wait a minute, I mean, you really have some serious timelines here in terms of the treatment of the water itself, let alone what the building conditions are up there.
I sense that the board would also wonder if, we would want to extend communications directly to the Kinsman Corporation, and see if there's anything that we might be able to do to stimulate a faster action on this. So I don't know if that would be advisable right now. So that's something that think that the board might entertain. I think that if they're not talking to the design contractor, they should be talking to somebody and, you know,
You can
hopes
talk to
to
them,
get
you
this
can
thing
talk to
resolved.
us.
Yeah.
Oh, but then you need to document that they're not talking. And this, well, that's what I'm saying, is if you're being stonewalled, then you need documentation that you're being stonewalled.
Mhm.
And if you don't have that, forget it, you're never gonna.
Well, we're gonna get the documentation now, but
No,
maybe
but I
we should.
mean, have those, the two clerks of the works go back and kind of build a timeline here from, I mean, don't just start with a report as of tomorrow, but go back for a month or whatever the timeline is here when the issues came to light. So that if they don't remember it, I mean, they gotta remember these things now because, as we all know, 6 months from now, a year from now, everybody's memories begin to fade. And the court, if it goes to court, and Kinsman's got a lot of dough, they're gonna, I'm sure they got more lawyers than we ever thought of having.
Well, we're waiting for a letter right now from them.
Yeah, but I mean, they haven't sent you a letter in 3 weeks.
They haven't
so-
sent us a letter, so when did they tell us they were gonna send us a letter? Weston and Sampson responded, do you have the file there? Weston and Sampson responded to that email.
So this, no, they responded to the substantial completion because they were obligated to do that under the contract. So they responded on behalf of the town of Raleigh because there are certain timeframes that we have to follow once that request has been filed. And at that point, we're saying no to the substantial completion. So until they come back and say they're ready for some type of inspection or whatever, things are just, we're being held in abeyance right now. That's why I emailed Sikora and Hargraves and asked them where things stood on Monday morning. Where do things stand? Is there activity going on? Have you gotten a response? And they said they have received no written response, but they seem to be aware that there seem to be various tradesmen in there working on things. That's all I know.
Yeah,
And I'm concerned.
That's meaningless.
I've been concerned from the minute, we became
They could be sitting there
involved in
playing
this.
cards or something for all we know. I mean, until we get some concrete information. My other question would be is when the last time we were up there, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I mean, are they working at least outside the building, loam and grade, and are they doing
They're
it?
working, I think
Are they
they're
doing
working
any kind of,
inside.
I don't know, I haven't been up there, so I'm just.
I think they're working, some of the people, the contractors are working inside. And I understand that they're working on some of the punch list items. We're not allowed to go in there, so they're working inside. They're not allowing us to go in there. So right now, what our situation is that we were waiting for a letter from Kinsman explaining to us what they were gonna do. And it's only been about maybe, I'd say 10 days since we've been waiting, so that's a long time when you're waiting, So hopefully this thing of getting things documented will stimulate them to provide a explanation and a solution to our desire to get that place running, in quick order. So, but we need to do that right now, right away, is to get this thing documented.
How many days has it been since they shut the
I think they
treatment plant,
closed
the
it
treatment
on
down?
maybe the 2nd? Is that
So
something
the
like?
first-
Yeah.
The
We're talking
2nd?
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
I mean,
the,
time is going by here.
Fast.
and then
Very quickly.
the substantial, the punch list letter, I think, came out the following week, and so now we're about 10 days out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an answer for you, but
Well,
I
let me
definitely
say,
think that it's time to put some boots in the ground and
Yeah.
even if we march up there, if somebody marches up there and demands to be, bring a camera or a video or something and demand to be in. This is our treatment plan. I mean, granted, it's under their purview during the construction period, but I mean, we're the one paying the bill. And,
Well, you're absolutely right, and then we're faced with the warm weather hitting, and everybody wanted to turn their sprinkler system on, so we're gonna be short water. We need to get that thing operating right now, so.
I'm concerned, but Tim, to be perfectly honest with you, I, from everything I've seen, I'm really concerned that we're not getting any money's worth out of these two clerks of the works people. I mean, to go back when we had the 3 bridges in town that were out of commission from the May floods there in 2006, I was chairman of the Board of Selectmen when that whole project went. And I met with the clerk of the works personally as a board member. Now, I understand you guys are working, you can't do it every day, but I met personally with that clerk of the works just about every day at the project. And when he wasn't there, I knew the foreman met with me, he explained everything they were doing, all 3 bridges at once they're building. And he was down to talk to Deputy Town Administrator at the time with any kind of issues, any kind of problems we had. We knew instantaneously everything was going on. I'm just concerned that, you know, at this point in time, and for quite some time, that with 2 different clerks of the works, that we're not, the town isn't hearing anything about anything other than someone said. And I think it's, you know, it just, we're spending $12 million here, and someone said doesn't cut it.
Well, I think
And I think it's time for the people to get upset and up in arms, and if we have to go up with a cruiser and be denied entrance by their people, then let's do that and document it. And I mean, it's something, we got to do something. We got to bring attention. Kinsman obviously is ignoring everybody, and I don't know what they're waiting for. And they've probably been advised by their lawyers, but you know, we need to take some kind of more drastic action than just waiting for a letter that we hope is going to come one of these days.
You know, the whole issue is the physical plant, as the town council said, and you've seen all those, the letter and the memo that she wrote, has been ignored in the whole process. The whole focus has been on the equipment, the membranes, the whole unit inside. But, you know, because the building inspector was not engaged or contacted for, you know, other than 2 minor issues, you know, I think that's where we are. Had he seen the change orders that came in over the course of the year relating to the structural issues, which I brought up with the water board at a few meetings ago, that were my concern, and, you know, I don't think we would be in this position at that point, because the message would have been sent that, you know, we wouldn't be getting an occupancy permit for this building with the way things were going. Now we're at the point where there are substantial 14 pages of items that are considered health and safety issues with the physical plant that are going to be addressed in what? That's what I said, in what, 2 weeks? I mean, we were told we should be up and running in June, you know, now we're almost in June, and there's substantial issues. And that's why I'm just sitting here saying we haven't had a response, and we haven't, so I think Mr. Peterson's got a great idea if we can get the clerk of the works.
Well, we just took a vote on that. I mean, we're not talking about a bridge project. We're talking about a plant that's got well over 40,000 components to it.
And that's why you should be on top of it more than I was.
We hired Weston and Sampson to do this, and so they're looking at this, and there's a procedure that they're following to give a punch list out. And the timing seemed to be out of whack. I don't think Kinsman should have wrote that letter when he did. I think he should have waited a while later before he wrote that letter, because they were about to put the punch list together. I think it's not acceptable, Dave.
Oh, and I understand that. That's why I'm saying, Tim, that as we move forward here, let's make the 2 clerks of the works accountable. And, you know,
well, they are
now,
because we wanted to make sure.
How do we even get to this point without them kind of being aware of what was happening, I guess? I'm not sure.
I think they were fully aware of what was happening.
Well, then they didn't tell anybody else, I guess. But
well,
They were aware that there would be a punch list forthcoming, 14 pages from RDK, of things that were outstanding like that?
Well, maybe they were expecting 8, I don't know.
well, we don't know. But I mean, it's just at this
Well,
point.
I think you said that they were aware of it,
Yeah,
so.
the punch list comes in at the end of the project. Doesn't come in before the project's complete.
No,
so-
you said that they were aware of this, so I
They were
just.
working on a punch list. And I don't know, RDK is working for Weston and Sampson, and they go in and they're independent, and I guess they come up with a list. So, I mean, this is in progress. This is being accomplished right now. What's holding us up, what's giving us really the heebie-jeebies right now is that we haven't got a response from Kinsman. Because we want that plant open, so.
And that's why I think I need to let the DEP know and follow the town council's advice, and probably see what she has to say about that.
So you think we should have our attorney contact Kinsman directly and say we're about to call the DEP to let them know that we have an issue here? Can you tell us anytime soon when this letter's going to arrive, what you're going to do to address these this punch list, or should we open up a dialogue with this? And kind of keep it, you know, on, you know, keep the communication line open. So that's what I'm thinking. Get this thing going, but just tell them we need to do something in a positive manner right now to get this plan operational.
Well, I'd like to hear from Barbara Cook, since she's the one overseeing all this, and, you know.
Would it help if I called Barbara Cook?
Well, I think so. I
Okay.
mean, that's why I emailed Barbara, John Sikora, and John Hargrave to try to find out what's going
Well,
on.
something's
On
gotta-
Monday morning, I wanted to know what was
Yeah.
going on, what's happening.
Hopefully,
I think West.
hopefully we'll get a letter tomorrow. Hopefully. But if we don't, we gotta get, you know, turn up the heat on this. We need to get this thing going right now. Does the board want me to call up Barbara Cook?
Yes.
Okay. So I will call up Barbara Cook tomorrow.
And we also need to instruct the two clerk of the works to get up there,
We got the vote, and they're gonna do
Yeah.
that.
to look around and give us something in writing.
Okay.
All I hear is we're working on it.
So you want me to contact them too and give them the marching orders?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, before you move off the treatment plant, Carmen did go out and get the price for the fence. And I sent that off to you. It's $22,500.
Yes, correct. I didn't get a response from the other two
Yeah.
vendors, you know.
So, that's, I think, a lot of money. So, just wanted to.
How many
Is there a dog available?
It was about 350 feet.
It's that long, 300 feet.
Yeah, about 350 feet.
How high is it?
I believe it's
5 feet?
5 feet, yeah.
Okay.
Give those other vendors a call and see what's going on out there, you know, get bids.
Yeah, maybe call them,
First thing in the morning, yeah.
call them twice tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay,
Seems like you have one of the applicants is here.
yeah, I think that, Dan, would you like to come up? Thank you for coming in tonight, Dan.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Have a seat. This is,
Hi, Dan.
Commissioner,
Yes,
Commissioner Workman.
I'm Mr. Ricker. Carmen. Nice to meet you.
And we met Mrs. Egan. So she's our acting superintendent. So, why are you interested in this position, Dan?
That's something I'm interested in figuring out, learn a different trade, and figure to help out the town more, and learn some more stuff.
You got a high school, you're a high school graduate?
Yes, sir.
Are you working at the cemetery now?
Yes, sir. Part-time,
How many hours put in on that?
9 to 1.
So you're gonna do what, 40, Johnny?
Yeah, you'll have to, yeah, this is a 40-hour position.
And
Um, You have a Massachusetts driver's license?
yes, sir.
When are you available to start working? Hope immediately.
Once after Memorial Day, I should be able to start. Once the rush is over at the cemetery.
Okay. What about your experience with lawnmowers and engines and stuff like that? Do you care to tell us about that?
I can run a mower, I can run string trimmers. I can do general service. I do string trimming every day at the cemetery, so
Yeah.
I've got a good bit of experience on that.
We got like a, what do they call that lawnmower about back? It's a, right on, what is it?
To walk behind commercial
Okay.
mower.
It's tight.
Any experience with that?
Is it hydrostat or is it geared for drive?
I believe it's hydrostatic, I wouldn't care, I wouldn't sway them.
Yeah, I can run them.
Okay, so what you would do is you'd ride around with a trailer behind one of the vehicles here with the lawnmower, and you'd start hitting it. And what's the big grass area? Is this down by the wellheads? Is well 2 the biggest, or is it down?
Yeah, probably right now, 2.
And
So you'd have to hit that field, that's right next to the ball field. And,
Station 1, you still remember that?
what's that?
Station 1.
There's Station 1 down close to the gas station.
And then walk the road, things down.
Right, and then of course around here, you gotta dress up this area and make this look nice.
Okay.
And, I don't know if there's gonna be anything down around well 5.
and the trimmer to go around the hydrants.
And then you get the well, 3, gotta do that. Is that a lawnmower job, or is that, you know?
I'm not really sure if that's at all weed back up there.
Well, you'll figure it out. And then general, maintenance and
You
cleaning
know,
up
go talk
around.
to the tank every once in a while, too. Not all
Oh,
the
the
time.
tank too, yeah.
Alright.
And a lot of the hydrants, so you gotta make sure. Would there be any problems with you understanding that we need to keep those hydrants free of all weeds and everything like
Yeah,
that?
I can do that.
That's really a priority.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many hydrants do we have?
360.
365.
365 hydrants.
Okay.
Okay. You guys have any questions?
I know that Mr. Beausoleil is employed by the town right now.
Yeah.
He's,
Yeah, we're just gonna have to find out if he's gonna give up the other one for.
he's as a call firefighter, actually.
Yeah.
No, I mean
think-
at the cemetery.
So, okay.
I know, he is, but he's also a call firefighter, just so the board knows, he does have that position in
Okay,
the
so if
town.
there's a fire, you're gonna have to,
Not that that should affect it, but he is employed by the town in that capacity.
so what would happen if he was out here cutting around the wellhead and then all of a sudden you get called out?
Well,
Would he have to punch out here and then go to the fire?
He would work out those details with the chief too, so, that would be something that we would work out, so. I think that the board, has the expectation that he would be working during normal business hours, which are usually covered in the fire station. It's the after hours that he is.
Okay. You have any questions, Dan?
No, not yet.
What kind of gasoline do you use in your lawnmowers?
Straight gas.
Yeah.
Put mid-grade.
Mid-grade? Okay. Do you have any, you put any additives in there to keep the water on it?
Only in the winter when we store it, we'll put the storage fluid in.
Okay. All right. All right, well, thank you very much. You guys have any other questions?
I have no
All set.
questions.
All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Mr.
Dalzell. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. All right, Mr. Harvey never showed up, so I'm assuming that's probably a no interest type thing.
No, that would be benefit of the doubt call. I don't know, I mean, we gotta wait till this kid can find out if he's not gonna do the cemetery anyway.
Like, we can't wait another week either, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't hire somebody for 4 hours a day.
No, he knows it's, we can make him an offer of 8 hours and let him handle the Memorial Day stuff. But then could he still work for the cemetery commission and take care of our during the week needs here?
Well, by law, if he's over 40, you have to pay him time and a half.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can follow the cemetery, but you have 40 hours for a seasonal laborer. It doesn't have to be one person. It can be split in half in 2 20-hour weeks. Actually, that would be the recommendation from the personnel department on that. That way, in case somebody's on vacation or they get sick, you have somebody that can cover those hours since you have a, a
Well,
lot
if we can
similar-
split it, why not let him keep the cemetery job and hire both these people that apply for it?
So you would have 2 20-hour week employees for 12 weeks.
I think,
It's just a suggestion, that's what they do in the cemetery.
No, that way we got both of them, yeah.
And if
He can
somebody's
still work
away-
down the cemetery and help out them.
Sure, it's something you can consider to do.
Well, I'll make that motion, we do that.
well, let's look at, so you wanna talk about the primary operator first, and then we'll talk about the secondary operator? Or you wanna- Huh?
Make it quick, so I can get home.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the seasonal labor. Okay, so we have a motion for the seasonal labor.
Make those for the building.
You make a motion to hire both of them?
Yeah, the 20 hours.
What do you want?
No,
make a
they
motion?
still got his 20 hours, the other one.
Well, the other one hasn't come in on the interview yet, so do you want to just make one appointment tonight and then wait?
Well, I mean, we've had him here for 3 years, so I mean, we know his work.
But he never responded to the phone call that Amy left. That was why I don't know.
But I mean, he came down with his applications, we could be interested.
Yeah, I just,
Mr.
I
Chairman,
find that
why don't you maybe
unusual.
make a motion to hire this kid 20 hours a week?
And then see if,
And if you can, that gives Mr. Hovey time to, if he's interested. If not, you can change the hours for this person, next week or the week after, if he feels he wants to work here full-time and give up the cemetery. At least you get someone, in fact, you could hire him as of tomorrow. If he's working 20 hours, you could probably hire him tomorrow if he's only putting in a limited number of hours at the cemetery. I don't know how much he's working at the
I
cemetery
believe
right now.
it's
Well, we
cemetery.
could do that, or we could hire this guy
At
for
least you
40
get started
hours.
anyway, so.
I know, but we could also make an offer to hire him for 40 hours and get the thing going and see if he's interested in whether working for us or working for halftime. So we need to get this thing
Well,
going.
The cemetery needs him too, so, but I recommend we do the 20.
I would recommend you do 20. From a personnel point of view, we need to meet with Mr. Hovey, make sure he wants the position. I don't know, you're gonna have another meeting probably next week or something. We'll see if we can get him back in. But for the meantime, at least, if you made an offer for 20 hours, we can probably have Mr. Beausoleil start getting your stuff done this week, working around whatever the requirements are in the cemetery, and then having a discussion with the cemetery board, just making sure there's no issues and any conflict, and work together, interdepartmental cooperation is what we try to stress in personnel. And then we'll make sure if Mr. Hovey wants the position, you can bring it back in, and then make your decision at that time.
Okay. I'm waiting for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we hire Mr. I can't pronounce his last name.
Beausoleil,
Beausoleil?
Beausoleil. 40 hours contingent on if he resigns from the cemetery.
I thought we were gonna do 20 and work together with the cemetery.
So we have a motion here for 40 and we have a motion for 20. Am I correct in that?
I would defer to comment as the official rec,
Yeah,
I know that-
Yeah, I mean, Roy wants 20,
Yeah.
Stu wants
I mean, the way the cemetery gets to have somebody that they need, we get somebody to cover part of it for now. I mean, you can still get his 40 hours, but I mean,
The other gentleman didn't show up for his interview. Mr. Toomey called him.
Okay, well, I'll second Stu's motion, we hire him for 40 hours. And if it doesn't work out, then we're gonna go get 20 hours.
I started to say contingent on the other gentleman. No one to work.
Okay. Did you get that?
yeah, whatever, I just want to go.
Okay, so, do we have a second on that? Contingent upon the other gentleman does not want to work?
Yeah,
Okay, so we have a second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so the primary operator position.
I nominate the one that we have working for us now, Mr. King,
Okay,
to that position.
do I have a second on that?
He's been through the plant and broke in on it, and he's been working out very well for us.
Then we have to look for another secondary.
Yeah. Mr. King is very impressive. I think he's young for the position, but he's very impressive. I think he can handle it. Do I have a second for Mr. King?
I'll second Mr. King.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
Okay.
So I guess we need to
So,
make a motion to
we'll
advertise a secondary position?
post a full-time
Secondary.
secondary and we'll do that immediately. So his appointment will be effective tomorrow as a permanent primary. Is that okay?
So we need a wage action for that?
Yeah, I can do that. I'll take
Okay.
care of that.
Do we
Effective.
use any of these other two for the,
Well, they're certainly gonna be in the applicant pool, so we don't wanna lose
that's
them.
what I'm asking. I mean, they're all good candidates.
So,
It's just, I think that we,
and we're looking also for a part-time secondary too. Don't forget that I've got the selectmen to authorize the posting for that, so. So certainly, we will encourage any one of them to apply for the secondary.
So, oh, look at here.
Hey.
Hey, Gene. Okay, so that takes care of that. We got that, so we have, right now we have on the plate, a permanent secondary operator. We need to advertise that. And a part-time
Effective July 1,
effective July 1.
yes.
And then, so Weston Sampson, they're providing us some help right now.
Some temporary.
So they can slip into the secondary position right now.
Well, you're managing that,
Yeah.
the filling in of the shifts and the impending vacation for one of the operators. So in the meantime, we're working on the solicitation for some longer-term contract services, tied in primarily to the treatment plant operation.
Okay. That's good. So we're
Well,
good.
we're doing what's within the,
Okay.
within the budget of fiscal 14 and 15.
Okay. Town administrator, acting superintendent update, you're doing that. So is there anything else, Deb, on that?
Yeah, so I have a number of items on that, I need to go over. Okay, starting, okay, actually, general business one, update on customer issues. I know you just handled the, Ms. Abrazzar's letter on Cindy Lane, and I just want to touch base with you on Carmine. Has been in contact with Diane Gaynor on Central Street. I think it was 63 Central Street.
Correct.
He's been working on that. And Tim, you were working on 68 Hammond Street, so you'll be in contact with that customer and get them the tablets and talk to them about looking into some plumbing issues first to see if there could be any potential leaks. So that was a follow-up from last week. The consumer confidence report, we're going to have Weston and Sampson prepare it as they did last year, and we're getting a quote from Penachek to mail that report as the board voted on at their last meeting. So that needs to be addressed by the end of the fiscal year. Water safety services, They're the company the water department uses for their flow preventer inspections. They would like to bill customers directly. Apparently they don't do that now, they have the capacity to do so. That would be easier for the water department to do that and not have to then put the charge on the water bill and get that to Penachuk. So I'm looking for authorization to have Carmen follow through on that with that particular vendor. So we would have Water Safety Services bill customers directly. There's a certain number of water customers that have backflow preventers and they have to be inspected. So the water board would need to authorize if we could have Water Safety Services perform that.
Okay, so are we selecting a contractor for that, is that?
No, you use Water Safety Services
Okay.
now as part of the backflow preventing inspections. Bear with me, do this. So we would like to see if they could just bill the customers directly rather than have that charge put on a water bill.
Okay, so do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay. The water tank cleaning is moving forward as we discussed last week. Carmen has been in contact with a vendor. It seems like it's coming together for a time, sometime in June, so, you know, Carmen's facilitating that, so if there's any questions, you can speak directly to him, but that is going forward. I give you the fence quote. The emergency response plan, as you remember last year, they identified that the town didn't have a proper ERP in place, and then we hired Weston and Sampson to do that. So Peter King brought that to my attention today, that actually will probably need to be updated. There are pertinent sections that are going to need to be updated to reflect the water treatment plant and what their response procedures and protocols are relating to that new operation in the water department. So that needs to be included in that. So Peter will work on that, and if he has any questions, he's going to contact Paul Provost at Weston and Sampson.
Okay.
And then the trucks. Last week, I brought up the idea that I was selling an old unmarked police cruiser, and I thought I could add a truck on because it's easier to just dispose of public, vehicles easily if there's a number of them town-wide. And I wanted to be clear, we have a 1989 and a 1999. I just went by the fleet schedule. They're both on the town's insurance, whether you knew it or not. I mean, we handle the insurance for all the town vehicles. So I just want to be clear, which one are we selling? Are we selling the 99?
99, F-250, or is it a 350?
Okay. It's very rare that we would have a 1989 vehicle in any of the town departments. And I
The
would just
thing's
wasn't
never been
sure.
out of the town of Raleigh yet. I mean, it came from the highway department.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
We only use it once a month,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I just wasn't sure what the capital plan was. That never came up in the discussion.
Well, we did talk a little bit about, we changed our mind a couple of times about disposing of that truck. We thought it might be a good vehicle to do plowing at the new well treatment plant on town property. Not registered, but, if you have a truck, it would be just plowing the road, so.
What do you mean
That's
not
fine.
registered?
You could just keep it on the town property there.
I would recommend that all vehicles be inspected
Okay.
for safety and have proper registration and insurance.
Okay. I'm just telling you, that was one of the discussions we were talking about. So that would
Okay.
be not, an option. You just gotta get rid of that truck.
1999,
No, yeah, 1999.
without plow.
without the plow. You're selling it without the plow. Okay. Okay.
So we've already voted on that, that's just,
Yeah, I was confused still, and I still am. We don't have anything even, sorry, that's that old on the town's fleet schedule. Okay, screening committee, the water superintendent preliminary screening committee is meeting this week. So we're going to be going through that process, reviewing the applications, doing our evaluation, then they'll be screening the applicants and then making referrals. So I just wanted to give you an update. They're meeting this week for
okay.
their initial meeting. And that the secondary part-time position has been authorized to be posted. That will be posted tomorrow. That's effective July 1. So hopefully we can get that position filled on July 1st. And I think that was it for me.
Let's do it. close that with
So that covers my update.
Okay. So it's still, can we still talk about the treatment plant and status of everything? I noticed that Mr. Connor came in.
If the board wants to, I have to leave shortly, but,
I'm sorry, I thought the meeting started at 7. I planned to be here first, but I didn't realize it started before that, so my apologies.
Do you care to give us an update, Mr. Connor?
I actually, I had some questions for you all.
Would you like to come up here?
I watched the last meeting on tape, and there was some, it felt like we were getting kind of thrashed around a bit, so I came down here tonight to try to clear up a few of those misconceptions, I guess. As far as Kinsman is concerned, we've satisfied the requirements for substantial completion, and from our perspective, both Weston and Sampson and the town are reluctant to take over the facility and run it, even after having been given permission to do so by DEP. And after also your engineer certifying the DEP that everything was ready to go and be put online. So I don't understand the disconnect between, on the one hand, telling DEP that it's ready to go and telling us that it can't be taken. So maybe somebody can explain that to me here. I have a copy of the DEP letter that says that Weston and Sampson told them that it's all ready to go and everything's fine up there and ready to run. And
I think, you know, I think that this thing about the punch list, the substantial complete, what's your interpretation?
Well, I think
of,
there's.
Wait, hold on for a
Sorry,
second.
excuse me.
Yeah, so you have a sequence of your contract to satisfy your contract. You do a letter saying that you want substantial completion with the town, and you have to go through the design engineer. So
Right.
in that process, when did you expect to see a punch list? You know?
Substantial completion comes with a punch list, a monetized punch list. That's by definition, that's the statute. It comes with a monetized list of items to be completed, so that the substantial completion triggers the release of retainage. It triggers the acceptance by the town to run the facility. In this case, make water. Could be anything. It could be a building. In this case, it's a water plant. And as I explained to you at the last meeting, it means that the town takes over responsibility for the building, puts it on an insurance policy, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't mean that we get up and walk away. We still have this monetized list of items that we have to complete. And the retainage is released, the 5% that's retained is released down to the point that except for the monetized list of items that are assigned to all the different parties responsible, and there's probably a dozen parties out there responsible between filed subs and other non-filed subs and ours, any items that we have. And it also wouldn't include any of the things that are yet to be completed, like the site restoration, any of the finishes, the paving, the loaming and seeding, all that stuff that's underway right now, which just by its nature couldn't be completed until the spring. So what we're saying is, and what DEP has said to you is, you can run it, you can put it in line, it's making great water, and even your ex-primary operator stated to that effect. He had it tuned in so that it was making great water and sending the system. And for whatever reason, there's a reluctance to take it over and run it, and I don't for the life of me understand what that is.
Well,
So-
what indications do you see as a reluctance by the town to not take it over? I mean,
You simply haven't
No.
at this point.
We've
We've been back-
and the board of fire department, and more letters with that.
Right, and you know why that is? You know why the fire department hasn't come out there to do their inspection yet? Because you don't have a phone line out there. So you have no way to transmit an alarm if there was an alarm generated out there. But that's not in Kinsman's contract.
So the phone line is a factor in After the
Absolutely.
phone line gets in there, then you call would you call the fire inspector in, or?
Absolutely. Everything in the place has been tested.
So you'd be premature for you to call the fire department unless you...
They won't come out there now.
So I think the confusion to me is, you know, what the sequence is, you know, as far
Here's
as
what has to happen.
taking...
Right
Is
now.
this typical?
First of all, I watched on the TV, and there was a big to-do about the number of items and so many pages of this and that. If anybody ever sat down and actually read what that is, most of it is paperwork submittal.
Yeah.
It's sending in a test report. It doesn't say the test reports haven't been done, it just says they need to be filed.
Yeah.
And they need to be filed because this job was done under a controlled construction environment where you have a full-time resident out there inspecting the work, and you have an engineer that's going to file an affidavit at the end of the job that says, we watch these guys do all this stuff, and it's done in accordance with all of the contract requirements. And you won't get that until all these test reports have been filed. But you need that for occupancy. That's a whole different ballgame. For a CO from your building inspector, he's going to need those affidavits from RDK, from Weston and Sampson, from whoever else that they have do their consulting, sub-consulting. And they won't do that until they have all those test reports. They typically linger beyond the date of substantial completion. So you get substantial completion, you run the place, you make water, and you're putting water out to your people, and we're still there. We're doing other stuff, and cleaning up the punch list.
So the substantial completion process for the approval usually comes from the owner, and then from there, you're not asking for all the money in that retainage.
No, sir.
You're asking for just enough to cover everything, excluding all the punch list
Correct.
requirements and the landscaping.
Yeah,
So you
those
still-
haven't even been invoiced
So,
yet.
yeah, so you're not gonna invoice now, but you just want the process to proceed? Is that more,
Yeah, what has to happen here is you have to accept the building and start running it. And you guys were trained,
yeah.
and we've gone through all the tests, and the thing is making great water, but nobody has stepped up to run it.
I think what needs to be done here is, this gentleman and Ken Watt and Fire Chief sit down, three of them together, and
A couple of things. There's a couple of little things here that are in order for the fire department to be satisfied, that phone line has to be installed. It's not installed. And in addition to that, all the phone company's going to do is bring it inside the building and tag it off at a board. You
no,
still.
what I'm saying is the fire chief says there's a lot of things that ain't right inside the building, and along with Ken Watt. So I think the three of you need to sit
I
down.
don't think either one of those guys have been out there yet.
Yeah.
Well, they have.
They wanted to go out, but they weren't allowed to go out.
Well, we haven't called Ken for an inspection yet, for a final, because we know it's not ready.
Well,
for
you
him
sent
to
a
look
letter
at.
in, so we should go out there and inspect it.
It's not ready.
You sent a letter for substantial
The
completion.
one has nothing to do with the other.
We want the building inspector to make sure that he agrees with it, the physical plant part, not the water treatment equipment. We understand that the DEP is fine with that, but the DEP investigator didn't go around the physical plant and look at things that we consider are life and safety issues for employees.
There you go. There's the life safety thing. Okay. Did you actually read that list? Go through
We
that
did,
list?
we had a meeting because we couldn't
Did you
go.
go through it
because
yourself personally?
We did at the meeting.
We or you?
We had a meeting because we weren't allowed to go to the site, so
Well,
we
it's
sat
so
down.
dangerous. Why would you want to go
We
there?
sat down with, that everybody that wanted to go inspect, and we reviewed
Chief,
the list.
I want this thing to go smoothly. I want us to get this thing going.
Let me just throw this out to you. Here's what I think has to happen. Because a lot of these things can't happen until you don't even occupy, because you don't have an official CO. That doesn't mean you can't go in there and run the place and take it over. You don't need a CO to do that. It happens on every single job. The CO always lags the substantial
Okay,
completion.
so is that something we can look into with Mr. Ward?
I would think that you need to speak to Mr. Hargraves, the water board consultant that you're
Okay.
paying to oversee this.
Couple of things. Like I started to say, the phone line, which is not in our contract, and even if all of this stuff, and you had all this paperwork and everything filed, you still won't get the fire department to take it over because you can't transmit an alarm.
Yeah.
You don't have a phone line.
Okay.
So you're not doing anything different than if you were standing there running it, making water and pushing it out to the system. At night, when you're done running it for the day, you leave the town pressure on. You have a perfectly functional sprinkler system that takes care of it. And, you know, and then if we do that, we take 5 offline, then we can do the phone line, because right now, 5 is running your, that's what you need the phone for.
I want to resolve this. I want to, would it make sense to have you and Mr. Ward, Mr. Hargraves, and Mr. Sikora at the plant tomorrow and try to hash down something like this? It's exactly the sequence, and we want to get this thing moving. We don't want to delay anymore. We want this moving. And what you tell me is that this is kind of like typical. You don't.
It is typical.
You can operate the plant in any instance before you get the occupancy permit.
Absolutely, because
So we can get the other work done, which is closing down well 5, to get that work done, so we
Right.
can get that thing combined. So right
Yeah.
now, we need to be producing water out of well.
you gotta take 3, put 3 into the system, so that we can take 5 offline, get rid of the alarms over there that you're worried about from your phone, run the phone, get it into the building, and, you know, there's gonna be a period there where there's no way to transmit an alarm, so it's gonna have to be, like, you know, you have to monitor it.
So the phone line, there's phone lines now up to well 5,
Correct.
but they gotta take those lines out to put the phone lines that they really need for the treatment plant in,
Correct.
so they gotta shut that down.
Right.
So that's the catch-22. They can't do one thing without the other.
No.
So they gotta be able to do that so that the fire.
Well, the only thing you could, I
department-
mean, what you can do, what we're thinking of doing is, there's a cell dialer in the new SCADA panel at the new plant,
Yeah.
which, you know, by radio, we can get the alarm signals from 5 and send that out. But you can't do that unless there's somebody sitting there, or somebody's got the laptop that they took home, and you don't do that unless you're running the place and taking it. So either one of those 2 options. I mean, you'll have the alarms from wherever when you activate the cell dialer, but that's not going to get activated until you take it over and run it. So, and the same thing goes for any of the remote sites. You got the new repeater on, ready to go online. You got your tank signal, which runs everything. Your level signal.
Yeah.
You can't get that until somebody's, you know, monitoring the panel. So right now, everything's ready to cut over, but it can't be cut over until somebody's ready, you know, either sitting in front of it or with the laptop home with them in the evening, who's ever supposed to be on duty. You can't monitor it, so we can't cut that stuff over yet, so that's still waiting to be done.
Tank, to get back to Tim's question, would you sit down with John Sikora and John Hargraves tomorrow?
Sure.
But you're essentially Hargraves, Ken Ward, Sikora.
I've spoken to Ken. Ken's got no problem at all with anything that we've done out there. I've spoken to him on the phone.
Okay, good.
Because somebody got involved with the inspection process and told the electrical inspector not to come out there and so forth like that, because they were waiting for paperwork from Weston Sampson, is what I was told.
Okay, so the electrical inspection did occur.
But it didn't get signed off because he won't sign off for it. But he came out there and was pleased with what he saw. He found 1 GFI outlet that he wanted replaced, and that was it. There's nothing else.
Okay.
So as far as I know, both the plumbing inspector has been out and the electrical inspector. And, you know, when the time is right for Ken to sign off, and when he has received all the affidavits from everybody, then he'll do his look, because he's already had the electrical and the plumbing guy come in, he'll sign off and you have a certificate of occupancy.
I think we just need better communication up there between the town officials and yourself, and maybe this will go a lot smoother. It's just,
Well, there's a couple of things that have happened that are a little disconcerting to us. Number one is, and I don't know if you were at any of these meetings, but I've been asking for these inspections by these sub-consultants since February. Actually January. In February, I get formally into the meeting minutes that I asked for it. And when did they come? They came 2 weeks after we, you know, said we were done. And then it was another week after that that we got the report. You're sending up all these flags about all of these things. They could have come at any time during the beginning of, any time through March and April when we was walking around running everything. They could have been in the building doing all this. All this stuff would have been already done by now.
Okay, so the actual production of this punch list was
Untimely.
Untimely. Okay.
Totally.
All right. And then you're going to guarantee occupancy, so why wouldn't you?
Well, we're still going to be there taking care of whatever
Yeah.
items are that need to be taken care of.
So you're going to.
Because that's going to be what happens is that this monetized list that gets written, that comes with a certificate, substantial, that gets distributed to all the guys that, that the tasks get assigned to whoever it is responsible. And the retainer gets released down to whatever that list is, plus, and it's supposed to be an amount of any outstanding demands from anybody, which I know of none. So, it gets reduced, and then those people start chiseling away at their list. And then in the next month, typically within the next month, all of that stuff goes away. We requisition the next month for the items that have been completed on the punch list. And you get that. And then, after like about a month and a half, the stuff is done.
Well, we deferred to the clerk of the works, John Sikora, and he sent a letter to you with that, and that's.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now that if you go down that road, you won't be getting the plant. It just won't happen. It's just not going to happen the way it's going right now.
Well, since he sent you the letter, I think it would be a good idea is the water board saying if you could sit down with him and the water board special consultant, John Hartley, and talk about the letter that they sent and what things and develop the plan. That's all we're waiting for, is a response.
Yeah, I think I'm here tonight because I think you all are under a few misconceptions about what we own and what is not in our contract. There's a number of things that are going to come up that are going to be required for occupancy that are not in our contract.
Okay. Yep.
We're not doing them.
You said that, the phone line.
That's just one. That's the kind of a biggie right there, but that's one.
And I know that we're working on that.
Okay.
Do you have somebody to wire the inside? Because that hasn't been done. Even if the phone line gets run, the inside isn't wired.
Okay, Gene, let's try to get this thing resolved tomorrow. We'll get the Hargraves, Sikora, Ward, maybe the fire chief. Get all this thing on the table so we can get this thing going.
I'd be glad to do that.
Can you be available at a moment's notice? Because I'm not sure these people are going to be available. But I want to get this done. I'd like to get it done tomorrow. I can't.
I'd be glad to do it.
Tomorrow afternoon might be
any time before now. This thing is dragging on way too long.
We all rode together and we'll get through this. We all pull together.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, that's, I
I like
think
the concept. I hope that happens.
tomorrow afternoon or Thursday morning. Are you tied up any of those times? Can you give me your card so I can, make sure everybody's got your, I'm sure they have it, but, okay.
But, yeah, get me on the phone. You know how to get me. John knows how to get me for sure. So, yeah, there's a lot to be talked about. No doubt.
Okay, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, I think,
I need to go. I think you don't have any further questions. I think you really need to defer to John Hargraves on this. He's your special
I believe you're right.
consultant. And get him going on this
I wanted
and
him to be the focal point. of this meeting.
facilitate that communication and continue to work on that.
I just had Tim ask one question. I didn't want to interfere. I get the impression from listening to Gene that when he's talking substantial completion, he's talking about the water treatment process. And he seems to be separating the water treatment process from the construction of the building, the overall completion of the building. And I just wonder, I mean, our concerns, or the town's concerns, at this point seem to be not with the water treatment equipment. I mean, the DEP says it's working, he says it's working, everybody seems to be happy that it's working. Our concerns are with the building quality or the building construction that it's housed in. And I guess, I think in what the meetings I've been to is, when we're thinking about substantial completion, we're thinking about that building that sits behind you being substantially complete. Yeah, granted, the water system, the water works within that building are probably 100% fine.
Yeah.
It's just how do you delineate making sure that we get our other concerns done, I mean, without holding up the water treatment process. In other words, if he can get the water treatment process turned back on and working, and we can use the building and then fight about the building concerns and the walls and the gaps or whatever the other thing, I think that's where our concerns from the town was, not with the water treatment process at this point, it's with all these other concerns. And he seems to be mainly saying, well, the water, the water treatment stuff is fine, there's done with that. I think if we could somehow
I think it's
split
a
the
lot of
two
lack of
so that we
time.
can get the waterworks running and then deal with all the other issues separate from the waterworks, so it doesn't interfere with DEP, it doesn't interfere with him, you know, getting paid off or whatever he's. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out
Well,
there.
most of these things on the punch list are mostly they're building issues.
It's all building, that's what I'm saying, he's
Right.
talking,
And
his.
he's already said, and he said he's gonna fix them, he's gonna be there on site, and we're not gonna pay him the full retainage. We're only gonna pay him a portion of that.
Well, I think you need to have I think he needs to explain from his perspective, what is the process? And we all know we have projects done, the building gets to the end and he's gone and we're stuck holding things.
Exactly.
And we're concerned that this list is so big that we're gonna get stuck holding a lot. So I mean, the water treatment process, and whatever you can do to expedite that, get it done.
I was under
And
the
then
impression,
sit back and how do we figure out now about dealing with the building issues that we seem to have? And you know, that by separating the two, maybe it'll be a lot easier in terms of getting things accomplished.
Exactly.
I'm guessing, I don't know.
I see what you're saying, and I kinda feel like he's on the same page as you. I think he is going to take.
Well, every time he talks, and I've seen him talk, he's talking about the water treatment
right.
process. He never really talks about the building. And our issues are,
Well,
And the town's attorney is too, you
about the
pay
building.
for a building
No,
as
but-
well.
and how that legally works out in the contract, I don't know,
I think he's making a statement.
we're talking by each other, we're
The
not talking
equipment
to each other.
works the way it's intended to.
Yeah,
And then there's not much to be done with the equipment because it's actually functioning.
no, I'm sure it's fine.
It's
working great.
the punch list and the sequence of the substantial completion and all that stuff, it's all intertwined, and it's, I think that, the process is there that, and I'm gonna make sure that Mr. Sikora and Mr. Hargraves, make sure that they're comfortable with it, as well as the building inspector. But these building issues will be addressed.
Yeah, what you need is the clerks of the works to be aware of what our issues are, and then working with the contractor and with the engineer, exactly what is the process to get the plant online
Yeah.
and get these taken care of at the same time.
The process, the administrative process, plus it's the concern of the selectmen that the building issues are gonna be addressed. We're not gonna be dealing with that at a later
And we
point.
talked about, I was here a month ago, we talked about the phone line. I'm surprised that the phone line isn't all done and completed. I'm not sure, once again, I'm out of the loop, so, but I mean, I would have thought that was all done and taken care of by
I
now.
don't,
Where that fell down, I don't know, but,
I don't profess to say.
yeah, no,
It's easy.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
trying
the
to
phone
get
line's
something-
critical, we all agree it's
Exactly.
critical. We talked about it a
We're-
month ago here, and it still hasn't been, obviously hasn't been
Yeah.
completed.
It's still not done.
And it's not only the phone line, but the connections within the plant and whatever to make the whole thing work. So somebody is falling down in that aspect, whether it's our consultant, one of the, I don't know who's responsible
Yeah.
for that. But.
the impression I got on the phone line, that plan had to be kept running, then, so they could shut down 12-5 and while they clean and transfer the phone line.
Because kind of what he's saying is,
Well, fine.
without a phone line, you have to have a body sitting there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's kind of the impression I got.
Verizon selling these either? Is that what you're talking about?
The wire that they're running down to the physical line.
And then
I was afraid that there might be a delay. Somebody called up saying, we need that line tomorrow. They would say, oh, maybe 3 weeks. I didn't want that. That would.
Well, if that's the case, Tim, what he's saying is, if there's a delay in the phone line, then you need to have a warm body there until the
Right.
phone line's in,
Yes.
if you want to run that plant.
Yeah.
So it's expense, you gotta weigh the two.
Well, we're in place with,
I mean, it sounds like there's some hope here that we can maybe,
I think so.
iron out some,
he
or at
said,
least get to the next level of how to handle these things.
he said they're still working there, so if we could get the plant making water,
Hey, Jen.
Yeah.
then he finishes up.
Our goal needs to be to get the plant making water
Exactly.
first.
Okay.
That's first and foremost.
he's gotta get going, and
Okay.
you gotta get going, so may we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that a motion.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Thank you.